Welcome to Access a Trader, the #1 community for those who are committed to taking control of their trading in order to achieve success, profitability, and longevity. Thank you for joining us. Here's Dan Shapiro to help you find your edge, master your process, and own your future.
Hey guys, good morning everybody. Welcome to another edition of the AccessATrader.com weekend update show. Hope everybody is doing well. We are 10 days from Christmas. Very, very cool time of year, especially if you have young kids. Again, guys, for all you guys who are brand new parents, treasure these Christmases before they figure out Santa Claus is you. It's wonderful to see their innocent, joyful faces just light up. This is a great time to spend with your family, kind of, just take a step back from your day-to-day life and enjoy yourself. Just kind of enjoy your life. And, you quickly see how quickly your kids grow up. I mean, my son is 17. My daughter is 15. It's crazy. It's crazy. I just remember when they were just little kids just waiting for Santa Claus on the Santa Claus tracker. So hopefully you guys or enjoying your holiday season. Okay, so that's that. So again, before we get started, guys, only thing I ask is if you could be so kind and gracious, just click a like on the video, share this, subscribe, all that good stuff. Again, and I will try to do my best to give you guys kind of a point of view from somebody who's been trading for 2.5 decades, long time, for what I think might happen the next day, right? Not next week, the following year, the next day. So let's talk about it, right? Let's talk about it. The final numbers are really not going to paint the picture for the week. The S&P lost 0.6%. The Dow, which is having some issues, right? It's having some issues. I think the Dow is down now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row, approaching this 34-day EMA. And the point is, has anybody even noticed, right? For the week, the Dow fell back 1.8%. I don't remember the last time I even looked at the Dow. I don't remember. I really don't remember because it's so irrelevant. Years ago, the market, right? The market was known as the Dow. Even my mom doesn't know anything about stocks. She'll look at the Dow Jones, right? The Dow Jones as the stock market. And it's been so irrelevant. If you look at the picture and you say to yourself, well, the Dow is down almost 2% for the week. Must have been a really, really rocky week for stocks. Even if you look at the NASDAQ only rose 3%, 0.3%. You'd never think how aggressive the market continues to be. The market's phenomenal, right? Absolutely phenomenal. Even when we have days that the market gives us a back test, like if you guys remember on Monday, we had that 5-day breach. We had that back test to the 10-day moving average. You're still getting opportunities from both sides of the market, but the market continues to be incredible, just absolutely incredible. If you're an investor, if you're a trader, unless you're invested in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, you're getting some absolutely phenomenal returns. Bitcoin continues to act really, really well. Right now, where's Bitcoin right now? As of right now, it's at 101,000, right? It's doing very, very well. So you have crypto names up like 1,000%. Meme coins, shit coins, dog coins, cat coins, whatever you want to call them. They're going crazy. The NASDAQ 100 leaders are going crazy, except for one group. We'll get to that in a second. And this is kind of where I put on my, what happens if hat. But the most important part is unless we get some really derailed type of macro news in the next couple of weeks, we should go right into the home stretch. All these videos you're seeing, and, I live in New Jersey. If all you guys who live in like New Jersey, New York area, and even now we're starting to see pop around the country that, you're starting to see these alien drones. I would say 95% is BS. Again, remember AI, right? I saw a video the other night of drones shooting laser beams. I mean, come on, bro. If a squirrel roller skates, right, it'll go viral for 100 million views. You don't think an alien shooting at somebody kind of is a little bit of a farce? without so AI is taking control of people's emotions. Is there something out there? Yeah, probably. But again, let's all keep a level head. Having said that, we might not have this broadcast. We all get nuked next week. Independence Day 3 coming to a theater near you. But if you look at the individual names, all jokes aside, if you look at the individual names, market is doing great, right? Absolutely great. You start out with Amazon, that broke out, right? That broke out. If you guys remember the initial breakout above that 208 level a couple of weeks ago, we had the perfect break. It confirmed the all-time highs, and now it's just kind of hanging out, right? Kind of hanging out, getting a little bit tired. Maybe rolls over a little bit, gets down to this 22, 23 level. Not a big deal at all. It's really digesting its gains. Google, right? Just an absolute phenomenal move. It had that news with the Willow chip, the next generation of AI chip. Phenomenal move on Google. 176 to 196 in a matter of 3 sessions. Again, it looks like it has a date for a bounce attempt at the 5-day moving average. That's kind of where I am going to be looking to re-enter. You got Meta, same thing. Meta broke out, beautiful breakout. Broke out above the 578 level, confirmed to 603, traded all the way up to 638. Now it's just consolidating, held the 10-day moving average. You got Apple, all right, just in orbit, going absolutely nuts. You got Microsoft, had a phenomenal run, a little bit of a pause. Again, maybe does it get down to this 442 level to kind of reset on its 10-day moving average to kind of correlate the back test from the 917 highs? Probably, right? Probably. You're getting a little bit of weakness there. Certain semis, and again, that's the group I really, really want to concentrate on. So let me bring up TC2000. The only reason is I like this spacebar feature. I could go through stocks very, very quickly. So this is what I use to chart at nighttime. So Avago had a great quarter, right? Absolutely great quarter. Stock had a major move on Friday, 24% move, and it took a handful of semis with it. Here's the problem. It only took a handful of semis with it. For my game plan, or at least my thought process going into Friday's session was, well, if Avago is going to be good, and if you guys remember, we had a great breakout on ARM on the 50-day moving average. You go back to Wednesday's video, right? Huge move. You say, well, if Avago is going to be good, certainly, okay, it's going to take up all the other semiconductors, right? Oh, I can't wait for Nvidia. Nvidia's going to start getting above supply, and it's going to wake up. Maybe even dead dog AMD is going to wake up. But the semis should wake up, right? The semis should wake up. And as you're watching, the morning unfold, you see Avago doing really, really well. You see Marvel doing really, really well. You see TSM, right? Taiwan Semiconductor, coming out of a range. You see Micron, again, not there yet, but at least slowly coming out of a range. You see TER very, very close, coming out of a range. Skyworks, which I really like for next week. You see how Skyworks kind of just stopped here on the 50-day moving average? Let's watch the Skyworks for next week in case it starts getting above the 50-day. This thing could really start opening up. But again, then you start looking at a lot of names that are just doing absolutely nothing. And again, remember this. The semiconductor names really brought us out of our doldrums in 2020. This is the group that had a major rally and pulled everything up. But if you start looking at names, Clack, dead money. OLED, dead money. LRCX, which is amazing. LRCX produced a really good quarter. It really did on December 2nd. It has done nothing, absolutely nothing, still sitting below supply. ASML it's close, right? It's close. I'll even give you guys the price. ASML needs to get above like 730. Only reason is I'm not going to trade this thing at it's way too thin for me. But even ASML, if it gets above 730, maybe this thing wakes up. And you start looking at the other ones. MPWR, dead money. STM, dead money. Qualcomm, dead money. AMAT, dead money. Texas Instruments, everything is below supply. QRVO, dead money. NXPI, dead money. So these are semiconductor after semiconductor after semiconductor. And you turn around and say, well, surely Nvidia is looking good, right? Not so much, right? Not so much. And as a matter of fact, not only is Nvidia not looking good, Look how close this is. You see this range going back to October, right, guys? Going back to October. This thing starts losing the October ranges. This Nvidia is going to get murdered. Okay, it's not even an opinion. That's a fact, right? Look how long this range is. Remember, the longer the range for distribution, the higher probability will go higher. So if you look at the opposite side of the spectrum, right, on ARM, look how long the ARM distribution was. And we talked about this on Wednesday night's video. If it reclaims the top of the range, the 50-day moving average, ARM went in the last couple of days from 144 all the way to 156. So if you look at Nvidia, it's literally the complete opposite, right? This is a distribution that's going from all the way down from October, right? This is a long distribution. Something's wrong here, right? Something's absolutely wrong here. You look at AMD, this thing just can't get out of its own way. We had a really nice pivot on Nvidia on Friday from the 135 breakdown. We had a nice pivot on AMD from the previous 3-day range from 126, went down like $1 and change. But the point is, these things are not participating. And the one thing that I've always talked about is being prepared, right? Always being prepared on both sides of the market. The last thing you want to do, and again, I've talked about this in the last several videos, so I'm not going to kind of reiterate the fact, but the problem is when you see problem areas, especially in the market from former leaders, that's a big problem. When you see asset classes that are going absolutely nuts, let me just turn this off, they're going absolutely nuts that they shouldn't, right? For example, like meme coins and shit coins. I'm not talking about Bitcoin. I'm not talking about SOL, I'm not talking about Ethereum, I'm talking about all the, like the Haktua coins, right? When they're all up 1,000%, that's a problem. That's called a euphoric market. So when you have leaders that are not leading and you have these really ridiculous asset classes at insane levels, that's cause for concern. And the one thing that I want to make sure every single day is that all of us, when this interval ends, and it will, right? We don't, and again, guys, when I say this interval ends, I'm hoping this bull market runs till 2096, okay? Unfortunately, I've been enough of these euphorias to know it won't. Whether it ends tomorrow, maybe not on Sunday, but if it ends, next week or the week after, the month after, it eventually will end. And the last thing you want to do is be positioned at the top of the range, right? At the top of the range that keeps on pushing, because the high, right? The high, the dopamine that you are experiencing now goes away like this if there's a reversal. And they're not going to just tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, by the way, we're going to reverse. They're just going to take away 2, 3, 4 months worth of profits in 3 days. And it always happens. It's happened to me numerous times. It's happened to me during the internet craze. It's happened to me right in the start of, there was a massive run from 204 to 207. Then the mortgage crisis came. Right before the mortgage crisis, you started seeing a lot of leaders not leading anymore, right? And that's what I'm a little bit kind of cautious on. Again, like I say in every single video, I still want to participate in this rally, right? We know I don't care that one stock is weak. I want to see if everything starts losing a bid. That's the most important thing. If everything starts losing a bid, that's when you want to look at the downside of the market. That's what we've been doing pretty successfully. I identified 2 days this week, right? 2 days this week. If you guys remember on the Monday video into Tuesday, the 5-day loss of the Qs, we got a really nice wash there. And we identified that semis weren't rallying yesterday on the Avago strength. And we had a really good pivot on both Nvidia and AMD to the downside. So the key going into this week is, again, stick to the names that are going through distribution, that had big moves that are about to go again, okay? Or names that are coming off the bottom. The problem is with names that are coming off the bottom, there are very few of them. That's why I was really hoping, right? That's why I was really hoping Friday, before the sell-off came on Nvidia, that it was going to reclaim supply. Because if Nvidia would have reclaimed supply, and if my aunt should be my uncle, but the point is, if the semiconductors would have woke up, right, they would have had a massive rally into next week. But again, that's not the case. We are looking at a very, very shaky scenario. I know it's not going to be obvious to a lot of new traders because, damn, the market's going to go high. I want it to, guys. Again, that's the message. I want the market to go as high as possible. I just know that when I start seeing things that I don't like, it might translate into things in the future. Might not happen today, might not happen tomorrow, but it might translate in the future. So the fact that we are trading both sides of the market is the difference between a person who buys stocks in the bull market and a trader. And sometimes The trader is, maybe one or two steps ahead because they already went through the hardships of the Euphoria bubble popping. But again, be wary on both sides. So let me give you guys some names that I definitely like going into next week. Again, it's very, very tough to me to stay here for another 10 minutes to tell you how good the market is. I think we already know how good the market is. So let me give you some semiconductors. I think it's a little bit of a semiconductor theme on the watch list. So Marvel, right? Marvel had great earnings, came in just like every earnings play will come in, retested the 10-day moving average, put consecutive series of higher lows, riding the 10-day moving average, closed above its earnings highs. So I want to watch Marvel for tomorrow. Well, Monday. I want to watch Marvel for tomorrow. If it could start confirming Friday's channel, I think there's another leg up. Avago, absolutely phenomenal quarter. We were talking about they were coming for the 195s, the 200s. Phenomenal quarter, up 24% on the day. If there is a little bit of profit taking on Avago, you see this green line, right? You see this green line, again, without going into detail, for all you guys who've never watched the PS60 workshop, it's absolutely free. There's like two of them. I don't know if you get both of them, you guys, Kenyon, but it's like 10 hours worth of breaking down the theory. But you see this green line, without me going into detail, this is rising support, right? So I'm looking for, if there's any weakness or profit taking, and again, these numbers are going to change on Monday, but if there's any weakness into rising support, I want to be a buyer because it should, in my opinion, if there is weakness, it should trap shorts at the bottom of the range, go red to green at least once. For this thing to have a day two, it definitely needs to confirm Friday's high. So we're definitely watching that. Just in case Micron wakes up, and it's not imminent, it's still below supply. And again, this is the problem with most semis. They're just stuck in these ugly channels. But I want to watch Micron this week, not necessarily for Monday, but for this week. If you can see here, it's gotten rejected off the 50-day moving average once, twice, three times in the month of November. If it could just get back above the 50-day moving average and close above the Bollinger Band, this thing could wake up. So I definitely want to keep that as well. Google, I want to wait for a dip, right? I want to wait for a dip into this rising orange line. Microsoft, same thing, right? Microsoft into the 10-day moving average. Tesla. What can we say about Tesla, right? Just put the damn thing at 500 and start from there. But all jokes aside, any dips, guys, any dips. You see how it keeps on hugging this orange line? That's the 5-day, right? You see how it bounced again? So any dips on Tesla, as long as it doesn't take out the previous day's low, it should be continued as a bounce. After the close, you got MicroStrategies being added to the NASDAQ 100. Keep an eye on this thing above last week's range. And obviously to the downside, guys, we got to watch Nvidia. I hate to say it, man. I really do. I know a lot of people love the stock, but it couldn't rally on Avago's earnings. So, again, I don't think it's an imminent that it's going to lose the October range, but this is something that has to be on your radar, because if it starts losing the October range, guys, we're going to get a really, really good move to the downside. So that's it, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody has a phenomenal weekend. And with God's help, I will see you all on the field on Monday. Take care.